Hello my fragrance friends, it's Kat and I'm back today to talk about Bujairami. What is Bujairami? What's the deal? What fragrances do I have? What do I think about them? And what are my favorite picks and my least favorite ones that I have in my collection, which I've got a collection of 12. So we're going to be talking about a lot of fragrances today. So Bujairami is an Australian fragrance brand, and essentially what they do is a lot of their fragrances they dupe from higher end fragrances. What I think is interesting about them though is they don't always dupe the most popular release. Sometimes they dupe things that are like in the fragrance community. Some people are really talking about a particular thing. They might track it down and dupe it. So there's some cool stuff that they do dupe. They also do have the occasional original blend that they create. I just find that their draw card tends to be the dupes. Now they do have sort of two types of fragrances. These bottles here, which they come in multiple colors. I don't love these bottles. I think they're not, like they're glass, they're fine, but they all come in different colors. And with the 12 that I've got here, there is a variety of colors, but then I've got a lot of double ups. Like for example, I've got 3 in this colorway, and it's kind of annoying because it's hard to really remember which one's which. And when you do get them, they come in a box that's of similar coloring, so it does match. And for that range, every bottle is 100 mils and it's 45 Australian dollars. So in comparison, like if you're converting it, it's around 30 US dollars. So pretty affordable, which is a great way to sort of try a lot of fragrances. They also have this type of bottle, which looks a little bit fancier. It does come in a fancier box. And this is sort of like the extract version. So this is just a higher concentration of fragrance oil. Not every fragrance comes in this version. It's a little bit more expensive and it looks a little bit fancier, but I decided to try one of them because I was just curious about it. So before I go into the 12 fragrances that I have and tell you what I think about them, and then also mention which are my most used ones, I thought I'd address, like, are these dupes any good? Now, to be fair, most of these fragrances, I haven't actually tried the original because the whole point is, like, if I had the original, I wouldn't need the dupe. But I do have a sample of Greenwich Village by Bond No. 9, and I have the dupe for it. So I can compare the original to the dupe. Now, I have to say, when it comes to duping them, they are not quite there. I find the original with this one to be a lot more complex. So it opens very, very fruity. It has notes of lychee, black currant, there's peach, tangerine, then some florals. And then very quickly that fruity sweetness settles down to what I would consider more of a sort of earthy scent, like there's oak moss and a few things in there. But what I don't actually like about Greenwich Village is that the opening dissipates so quickly, because I actually really like that fruity opening, and this fragrance sort of wears off on me very quickly. And for a fragrance that's around 500 Australian dollars, I would not buy this. But interestingly enough, Fearless, which is the dupe by Bujairami, it does not have that complexity, it does not have that journey. This is a lot more basic of a fragrance. It has that beautiful fruity opening and then it stays that way. Now, I like the opening of Greenwich Village the most and I want that to last. So for me, this is not a great dupe, but the part that I like about Greenwich Village is what this is. So I would actually prefer to buy this and save 450 bucks because this actually lasts a lot better on me, and those fruity opening, beautiful, sweet, fresh fragrance is what this is, and that's what I wanted. So for me, is it a dupe? No. Is it very likable? Yes. So the reason I like Bujairami fragrances is because I feel like they do take an element of some of these really expensive niche fragrances or hard to get fragrances, and then you can sort of just liberally use them at your own leisure. And you might find that you want to play with like a chocolate brownie fragrance, but it's not something that you want to use every day or spend hundreds of dollars on. So it's a good way to test it to see, do I really like this? Is this a scent profile I'm interested in? And if you really do like it, you can decide to buy the original or a higher end version. But I feel like the majority of the fragrances I've used from them work really well and I really like. So obviously Fearless is the Bond No. 9 Greenwich Village dupe. I think it's really lovely. I really like this. It's one of my favorite fragrances that I have from the range, and I would consider this to be more of a fresh fragrance. I think they do fresh fragrances surprisingly well. Let's continue on with the fresh fragrances that I have from the range. I also have Rising Sun, which is a Valaya dupe. Now, I love this DNA. I think it is beautiful. If Parfums de Mali wasn't so damn expensive, I would have bought Valaya in a heartbeat, but I thought I'd try this version. Now, this is very nice, very easy to wear on a daily basis. So this is a very fresh, fruity, citrusy. There's like aldehydes, there's orange blossom, there's some molecular fragrances. So for me, I think this is such a beautiful fragrance. I love it. I don't think this is 100% dupe. I do want to say, since buying this, I realized that Afnan do a dupe as well, and I feel like this one is just a bit better. There's something about this that just feels a lot more refined. Slightly more expensive, but not by much. This is still maybe like 70 bucks. This is 45. So if I was to go a Valaya dupe, I would prefer this one, but this is such an easy wear and such a beautiful DNA. So again, this comparison shows that it's not necessarily the most refined dupes, but they work really nicely, and I will use this up happily, but this is going to be the one that I'm going to keep reaching for. This one also lasts a bit longer. So I found that I applied both of these on one on each arm, and this one just lasted a lot longer. So yeah, both really pretty though. A freshie that I also love, and I should wear this more because it is divine. This is Australian Watermelon. Now they claim that this is an original fragrance, but I have heard people say that it is very much like Dolce & Gabbana discontinued fragrance, I think. But this has notes of kiwi, watermelon, pink pepper, more watermelon, cyclamen, jasmine, lemon, watermelon musk, and sandalwood. A lot of watermelon. I love this. Now, I have tried watermelon fragrances before, and I don't love them because they're very candied and sometimes they've got sort of funny notes with them. This is a fresh watermelon. Yes, it doesn't smell like watermelon juice, but it smells like a really excellent watermelon candle. If you like watermelon and you like fresh fragrances, like, get this. Get this now. Get it now. It's one of my favorites. Get it now. This next one is a freshie, and I am obsessed with it. I use this a lot. You could even tell by the dent. So I only got this earlier this year, and you can see how much I've used of it. It is one that I reach for regularly. I also really like this bottle coloring. So it's got that really bright, like neon minty color that goes down to clear. So this is Lime Surge, and this is the Nishane Wulong Cha dupe. This, I've told myself, as soon as I use it up, I'm buying the original, because this to me is lovely. This is truly unisex, like all fragrances are unisex, but this one, I can imagine it being a beautiful, fresh, citrusy tea fragrance on anyone. I just think it's so uplifting. It's one of those fragrances you put on in the morning and you're like, I feel happier. I just am obsessed with this. It doesn't last the longest, being a citrus fragrance and a fresh fragrance, but it is divine. So this is actually my most used one. I love it, and I'm gonna be blind buying the original because I love this so much. Speaking of Nishane dupes, I decided to pick up Echoes. I'm not sure if this is Nishane Ani or Nishane Ani X. I'm not sure which one, but this one is not my favorite, but it's interesting. Now, to be fair, when I line up the description of this with the notes on Fragrantica for Ani and Ani X, I don't know which one this is supposed to be, but this is an interesting one. So for me, it smells very green. Like, I know that I think there's cedar in the base of those. This almost smells a little bit eucalyptusy to me. It's like a green spicy scent, but then settles down to this warm vanilla-y. It's odd. This is a good example of a fragrance that I would happily experiment with a dupe, but then if I bought the original and it was hundreds of dollars, I'd probably just not really reach for it too often. But it's an interesting one. Another one that sort of falls between fresh and like gourmand. I don't know why I bought this. I don't know what it is, and it's my least favorite of all of them. This is Confetti Kisses, which is a dupe for, I think it's called Sugar Kisses, by Lorenzo Pazzaglia. Now, I think I mainly bought this because I was trying to reach free shipping, and this is one that I've seen, like this bottle, I've seen pop up a lot, and I was just curious about it. When I first smell it, I get a booziness, and I know that this original fragrance has rum in the base notes. I also get this sort of chocolatey, sugary, buttery scent, which does sound nice, but there's something about the dry down that's very floral, and it's odd. It's like it just doesn't work very well. This is my least favorite. It's like it's trying to be gourmand, but it's also trying to be floral. And by doing that, it just smells muddled. So this one I don't wear, I don't reach for. This is my least favorite. Okay, let's get into gourmands. And I have like half my Bujairami collection here is gourmands because I really love gourmands. There's also a lot of really interesting gourmand fragrances out there that, again, I might not want to spend $300 on, but I want to play around with that fragrance. So one brand that has been on my radar for a while, and I've got 3 dupes here, so I'll talk about them all together. So Maison Mataha is a brand, I probably butchered that pronunciation, is a brand that does gourmands really well. It's a fairly newer brand, but they're very expensive. They're like $300 a bottle. So I've got 3 dupes here. One is this sort of extract version, so the higher concentration. This is Sweet Escape. You can also get it in the regular bottle. I just want to try this a bit stronger because I have heard that this particular fragrance is, because it's just a sugary fragrance, it's quite light. So I thought I'd try it with the extract. This is a dupe for Escapade Gourmande, which again is a very popular fragrance, very expensive. And the notes are sugarcane, vanilla, tonka bean, benzoin, and musk. So really, really, really simple. Now this is a very weak fragrance. Like, it's really lovely. I love to wear it. But it does just smell like a vanilla-y, sugary scent. So it's quite light. It does last okay, but it's a bit of a skin scent. But I also love layering this. So I've got something that I want to add a little bit more sweetness to. This one's a really good one to reach for. I also have Candyland, which is another Maison Mataha fragrance. This is a dupe for Évasion Bonbon, which is like a strawberry, marshmallowy scent. So the notes of the original, there's strawberry, charmallow, whatever that means, caramel, jasmine, ylang ylang, vanilla, and musk. Now, again, that is a very expensive fragrance. I don't know if I need something sickly sweet and strawberry in that price bracket, but I love playing with this. Now, this one's not going to be for everyone. This is quite a synthetic strawberry fragrance, and it's very syrupy smelling. Now, I like it. I think when you first apply it, you get that sort of really artificial strawberry scent to it, which is a bit icky. To me, it's like very nostalgic because I had a fragrance oil like this when I was younger that was just pure strawberry and really intense. So for me, there's something about it that I like, but I can understand this being a fail for a lot of people. For me personally, I really like it. And when you just let it settle for a bit, it ends up smelling like a really sweet strawberry syrupy scent. And I really like it. It's not something I'll wear every day. It doesn't last all day, but I like it. So I'm glad I've got this in this format because I would happily pay $45 for this strong syrupy strawberry synthetic stuff. But if I paid top dollar for it, I'd be really disappointed. So I love playing with this. I love layering it. But I don't know if the original's for me. In the same vein, I've got Baked Bliss. So this is a dupe from the same brand, but this is duping Brownie Pop, which is a sweet, nutty, chocolatey scent. Again, not something I want to smell like every day, not something I want to spend $300 on, but something that I want to play with occasionally. So the notes of this, it's supposed to be brown sugar, biscuit, chocolate, hazelnut, popcorn, vanilla, sandalwood. And for what this is, it's not bad. I'm not drooling over it and really wanting the original, but it's fun to play with and layer. So this again is quite, people are going to find it quite sickly sweet. That nutty, salty popcorn smell is a bit odd, but it's also a little bit cozy. So again, not my favorite, not my most used, but I quite like having it. Probably my all-time favorite gourmand from Bujairami though, and this is one that you can't actually get a fragrance version of. This is a good example of when I said that they sometimes take these sort of like, whether it's online or whether it's in a fragrance community and they turn it into a fragrance. This is the perfect example. It's one of my favorites. This is First Date, which is a dupe for Lush Sticky Date. Now Lush did bring out a body spray, I think it was around Christmas, so it's a much lighter fragrance than this. And it is the fragrance taken from their shower gel. I really like their shower gel. I have it in my shower. This is taking that same fragrance, but just making it a bit boozier for me. So I smell the inspiration here. It is definitely date-like. It's very syrupy sweet. But what I like about this one in particular is it's got this booziness. Normally I'm not a fan of boozy fragrances, but this almost smells like an Irish cream. So it's very sort of alcohol, but creamy. I really like this. For cold weather, this is lovely. It's a great like bedtime fragrance. You just get cozy and it just smells really lovely. I think I also associate this scent with bedtime a little bit because I have my showers at night, so I often use sticky dates in the shower. So I really like this. This is really unique. The Lush body spray was limited edition. You can't actually get a perfume version of this like really anywhere, only from dupe places. So this is where I think there's a little bit of they've carved out a little bit of a hole in the market. I like this. I think it's lovely and it's one of my faves. 2 more to go. I have an original by them, and this is really odd. This is Confetti, which is, like I said, original fragrance. It's inspired by a Middle Eastern dessert. The notes of this are odd. So the notes are butter, bread, sugar and cheese, cinnamon, rose and burnt honey, musk, caramel, vanilla and sandalwood. Now, when I use this, I straight away get, there is rose there, but it's also this sort of like salty, eggy custard vibe. It sort of smells like those Portuguese tarts or those like Chinese egg tarts that are a little bit salty, a little bit eggy, but like custardy. So it's odd. Now, this does settle down to smell a little bit more like a pastry, like a vanilla-y pastry. To me, this is a little bit jarring. So when you first apply it, it doesn't smell like something I want to smell like. Like I would have this in a candle. It's not bad, but it's just not personally for me. So this is one that I think is very interesting and again, very unique. But do I need it? And am I going to reach for it often? Probably not. And the last one I have is Bottled Island. Now this is a dupe for the Kayali Capri in a Bottle Lemon Sugar. So this came out as a limited edition mini in a pack. And I didn't get to smell that, so I don't know what it smells like, but I really love lemony fragrances. So I was keen to try their interpretation of it. Now for me, I don't know, there's something, I don't reach for this often. I sort of expect to get this burst of beautiful citrus. I think the raspberry in this ends up making it smell a little bit bubblegummy, which I don't really love. So the notes are sugar, lemon, raspberry, freesia, vanilla, and musk. There's nothing in there that should be offensive to me, but what I get is this sort of artificial bubblegum scent rather than a beautiful bright lemon. So for me, this is a bit of a miss, but if you did like those notes or you like that fragrance, you've used it up, you couldn't get it, whatever, and you want to dupe, this is where I think Bujairami shines. They can actually take something that was limited edition and recreate it and then offer it as something all year round, which I think is smart. Now, is this for me? Not really. Do I think it was going to be a lot nicer? Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. So after all of that, which are my top 5 personal favorites? Well, definitely my most used one and the one I just want in my collection all the time is Lime Surge, which is that Nishane Wulong Cha dupe. Surprisingly, my second most used one is actually Sweet Escape, which is the Escapade Gourmande dupe. Now, I think the reason I reach for this one so much is because it is such a great layering one. So if I want to add a little bit of sweetness to something, I reach for this one. So it is a pleasant, sweet vanilla, but it's very, very light. So on its own, it's not like a wow fragrance, but I use this surprisingly a lot to layer. My next most used one is First Dates. I just think it's such a comforting, sort of sweet but boozy scent. And in winter, watch out, I'm going to use this a lot. It's really, really delicious. Then I can't decide which one I like more out of these two. I've got Fearless, which is that Greenwich Village dupe. This is just so fresh and fruity and really lovely and lasts a long time. You can wear this any time of the year. It's really, really beautiful and it saves me $450. And I prefer that one anyway. And then also Australian Watermelon, because this is surprisingly such a beautiful, fresh watermelon fragrance, which there's not many out there, oddly enough. And it's just so uplifting and lovely. Rising Sun would be there too, which is that Valaya dupe, but because I found that Afnan version that I like more, this one's got dropped down a little bit, but it is one that I really, really enjoy as well. And my bottom 3, these aren't necessarily bad, they're just not really for me. Confetti Kisses, which is that weird floral, sort of chocolatey weird one. Confetti, which is just a little bit salty. For me, it's odd. I don't mind it, it's just doesn't sit well on me personally. And Bottled Island, because I just expected this to be a lot more sort of vibrant lemon rather than sort of like artificial bubblegummy. So overall, I'm quite happy with my experience with Bujairami. Yes, there's some fragrances that I don't love and I will pass on or get rid of. But overall, I have been able to find some really fun fragrances to play with that I don't think I would pay a really high price point for. And no, I don't think these are perfect dupes. I don't think they're as refined as the niche brands, but they're also 45 bucks. So some, like, I'm literally paying sometimes a tenth of the price of the original, and that, like, I'm happy. So if you're in Australia and you want to check them out, they do have a few stores in Sydney. I'm in Melbourne, we don't have any here, but they also ship from their website, and they do have a free shipping cap. I'm not sure how much it is, but they have a free shipping cap. So check them out if you're interested. So let me know if you've tried Bujairami and what you think about them. I do think their social media presence is a bit odd. They tend to give a lot of PR out to, like, what I would consider young guys, and they have a very, like, lad-like sort of reputation. So it's a bit of an odd mesh for me anyway. Like, it sort of puts me off, but I'm still going to use them. I still really like them. And I use a lot of their fragrances every other day. So this is like, they've intertwined into my fragrance life for sure. Let me know if you've tried Bujairami before and what your favorite fragrance from them is. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.